Check, check, check one. Do you need me or someone like a okay. That's okay. Don't say anything.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Kathy Folsom, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Aswananoa Valley. I would invite you now to please silence your cell phones. At its best, as reflected in our fifth and sixth principles, Unitarian Universalism is a religion of people who covenant to treat one another well, care for the earth, live by and stand up for the democratic process, and protect the beautiful tapestry of cultures and communities that make up the people of the world. Love is the core value from which we build. If you're new to Unitarian Universalism, I encourage you to take note of our mission statement. It's printed on the front of your order of service, and the 8 principles that guide our actions, which are printed on the inside. It's also our practice to welcome those of you who may be visiting with us this morning for the first or second time, or those of you who may have been away for a while. And so if you're willing and able, I'd like to invite you to stand and introduce yourselves. And we always start over here, so I'm going to start over here. Let's start on this side. Anybody on this side visiting or like to say hi? Everybody is a regular. Okay, how about on this side? Well, looks like we're all regulars here this morning. That's great. Um, Thank you. We're happy you're here, whether this is your first time or your 1,000th time. And we hope you'll stay for a coffee hour afterward. And if you're interested in receiving our weekly newsletter or finding more about our community, see anyone on our welcoming committee that's sporting an orange name tag, and they're around. And there's Michelle. And a representative from that committee will be at the greeting table in the foyer where you got your name tag after our service. Please take a moment to note our land and labor acknowledgement printed on the back of your order of service, honoring those who have come and stood in this space before us. Announcements about happenings in our congregation and in the community at large are on the back of our order of service, posted in our weekly newsletter, The Current, and also additional announcements are posted on the bulletin board out in the foyer. So now let our service begin.
Well, good morning. It's supposed to be 86 degrees today. Wow, that's going to be quite nice. So when I take this off and so our opening words this morning. For those of you who were there yesterday, we had a wonderful gathering to celebrate the life of Harry Petriquin. And so it was just really, really beautiful, and uh, I was very pleased to see familiar faces and some unfamiliar faces, and just that he was part of our life and we are part of his. Can you hear me? No? Always, my dear. But now I am. It's killing me. I'm going to repeat that. For those of you who were there yesterday to see Harry, can you hear me now? Okay, it was wonderful. And for those of you who weren't there, I'm sorry you could not be for whatever reason, but he was a part of this church. He still is, as are all those who cross over, who were part of our community. But I just wanted to let you know that we were well represented for a great soul, the soul that was Harry Petriquin. All righty, these words are from Unitarian Universalist Lisa Friedman. And she writes, we touch the floor to remember that wherever we bring our best self is holy ground. We reach for the sky to remember that we are a part of a mystery much bigger than ourselves. We hold hands to remember that we need one another and we are part of one human family. And we join voices to remember that we each have a gift to offer this world and to use it in making this world a little bit of a better place. So please rise as you are willing and able. Our opening hymn this morning is number 42, Morning So Fair to See. And we splendid stars. We march along, singing our joyous song as through an earthly paradise. Tall are the verdant trees, deep are the flashing seas, glorious each one where the seasons bring. Surmise shining in pilgrim's sight, from which our working spirit springs. Age after age beguiles, deep are the eternal skies, into the light from the shadow past. Resounded last. Please be seated. Our responsive reading is from Lao Tzu, and it is called the Tao. Let's read this responsively. Before creation, a presence existed, self-contained, complete, formless, voiceless, mateless, changeless, which yet pervaded itself with unending motherhood. Perhaps I should have called it the fullness of life, since fullness implies widening into space, implies still further widening, implies widening until the circle is whole. In this sense, when life is fulfilled, heaven is fulfilled, earth is fulfilled, and the fit person also is fulfilled. There are the four amplitudes of the universe, and a fit person is one of them. People rounding the way of earth rounding the way of heaven, heaven rounding the way of life, till the circle is whole. All right. This is the time in the service when you are invited to share a joy, a concern, a sorrow. The elements are here: the fire, the water, the earth, and the stones. We need you, a combination of all of those, to take the floor. Do I need to bring the stones? This stone is for those of you who, for whatever reason, decided you didn't want to come up. Just know that we keep you in our thoughts and hearts and minds. I want to share with you this morning as our meditation, it's called centering. And then we will have our time of quiet afterwards. It's by Richard Gilbert, who I work to death on Sunday, because his wisdom is just so deep and insightful. And I will give him a break, I promise, next time. And we'll have a time of quiet afterwards, as usual. This is called centering. We stop, we pause, we pay attention, we center ourselves. We free ourselves from the compulsion of projects to finish, work to be done, things to accomplish. We leave ourselves alone for a time. We journey deep down into that quiet center where no voice is heard. We live for a brief time on an island of peace. We apprehend the world from a quiet center. Here is the center of the world. And this instant is centered the whirling orbs, the movement of earth and sky. In this fragile moment of time is the culmination of all that has been and the promise of all that shall be. The thrust of cosmic forces catapults us here in the trembling moment of awareness that we all share. Looking back on the painfully slow transformation of mud into human consciousness, seeing in this instant how long is our history, gazing with uncertain eyes on what we may make of ourselves in the next act of creation. Here, in our grasp in this moment, is the center of the entire world. And now, while our minds are one, for this brief moment, I again leave you with the eloquence of silence. And so it is. I wanted to, before we go to the offertory, the thing about, it was an interesting week for me dealing with death. My mother-in-law died Mother's Day at 4:30. And then, of course, Harry had his celebration of life. And so, we're sitting there yesterday and we're taking things that Mom wanted us to have, some things we thought she wanted us to have. And, and family comes in and what's left, And it just, went deeper, especially as I get older. I think about death a lot more now than I used to when I was 50 or even 30 or 40. That most of us will die, and there are exceptions. My brother was murdered, or, people get in car accidents. But most of us will probably die on an ordinary day. Maybe I'll be coming here or wherever. Hopefully it'll be a little longer than that. And we will leave things undone. We'll have our plans, and they won't get realized. And again, it's cliche, but it's true. As we were taking things, some food, I got a lovely cross that she had. She was a devout Catholic. I'm a little more liberal in my theological views, but I got that, and we were taking things. And, of course, there's the money that the family had to split up, all those legal things, but you leave them all here.
I need your mic closer to your mouth.
Why are we having a problem with this? How about here? What didn't you hear me say? You weren't even listening. Yeah, it's a little... The floor is your... Last Sunday was Mother's Day. Okay. That was the last thing you heard me say. I'll do it again.
Don't turn it off. Don't turn it off.
I'm getting a lot of directions from a lot of different people. What should I do?
I did the floor. Don't stand in front of the podium.
Well,
I think the position on your head mic, if you're more comfortable with it farther out, I'm more comfortable with it closer to your mouth.
I'm a good man. I'm not going to say what I thought because it's inappropriate. But I'm going to defer to you. How about this? Is that?
It seems like it's better when you're behind the podium.
Oh, I can't move around. Okay. There. Okay. So, what was the last thing you heard? Yeah, well, see, that was the whole point. You heard that part. But that's it. Everything, your problems and what, people have to figure it out. But it was just hit home more that you just leave it all behind. And all that is really left is the love that you left behind. We saw it yesterday, obviously. I mean, there were well over 100 people there, and people couldn't make it. Same thing with my mom-in-law. And it really is true, even though we know it's true intellectually, you can't take it with you. And all you leave behind is your character and your legacy and whatever you decided to leave behind for your loved ones. So I just wanted to remind us of that, which we already know up here, but this will go, the looks will go, your clothes, it's just all gone, and what is left is your spirit. What is left is the things you said you would do, that you did or didn't do. But we will all leave unfinished business here. And that's why the meditation was important. Because we're running and doing, and one day we're going to wake up and we're not going to be here, and you're always going to have things left to do. So the priority is what you feel is most important. And hopefully that will be other people as opposed to other things that have to get done. It's that time in the service where we will now collect this morning's offering. And I thank you ahead of time for your generosity. Okay, so I have to, David Reed, I know you asked me yesterday what this was going to be about. I tweaked it a little bit. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope I don't disappoint you. I was going to try to blend how we're influenced in a contemplative way by the East, from Buddhism, from Taoism, from Hinduism. But, hmm? Why don't we do that? That's a wonderful idea. Please rise as you are willing and able for the UU National Anthem. And I like the way you said it.
I knew you were into the sermon and I
Yeah.
thought, should I say anything?
No, this is good. This is good. Oh, no wonder we have, okay. There we are. Shape of justice. Thank you. Thank you. There's something else. See, I'm learning all the time. You see how women get things done. A guy would have said, hey man, put the mic to your mouth, or something similar. But Rose said, you seem to prefer the mic. Okay? And Melinda says, it may be a good idea. Where God would have said, hey man, get it together. We got it. You notice the difference. I love it. Well, David Reed, you know, what I thought of last night was just to tweak it a little bit. See how I said it? And rather than saying, yeah, I just switched this morning, and I hope you can deal with it. No, but I wanted to get away. Well, I got away from the contemplative. You know, there's a rich contemplative history in the West, and you know that. But most of us go to the East because it's novel and it's just different from the West. So, but they're in cahoots with each other, if you will. They're just, you know, they're not against each other, and that's what I was thinking about this morning. But I was trying to tie it in to events that are going on. If you noticed that our president had gone to China, and it wasn't the significance like it was when Nixon went, But, and he comes with all these oligarchs. Usually, you got your Secretary of State and but he's got Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. It's just a whole different perspective. And obviously, the business of America is business. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But there weren't a lot of professional politicians there. Some would say that's a good thing. There certainly were no diplomats there. And so what I wanted to do, David, and instead of switching and of going to the contemplative tradition, which you probably know about anyway, I wanted to go to the psychological tradition of the West and the East. Because when he gets off the plane with all these billionaires, it's a different message. It's a different message. And also, China is not a paragon of virtue, and I'm not discussing that. But I am saying basically there's a different perspective on the world. And as our empire kind of declines a bit and their empire rises, which they've had before and it comes back, while we were spending money on weapons and material, they were building relationships. When was the last time that you read that China invaded another country? It's been a while. It's been a while. And so I want to just talk about the Western intellectual tradition and the East. You decide what you get from it. Because it's always a little deeper than what we're told on CNN and Fox. It's always other stuff going on. But the Western intellectual tradition suggests that in order for you and I to be happy, what we need to do most of all is to go out and subdue the world, to go out and conquer the world, nature, call it what you will, secure resources, found businesses, run governments, and in some cases gain fame and conquer nations. By contrast, now remember, we're not talking about spiritual, well, we are in a way, but the religious, we're talking about the intellectual tradition. By contrast, the Eastern tradition has for a long while told us something very different. In both its Buddhist and Hindu strands, and I would say Taoism as well, more abstract, as you got from the reading, it has insisted that contentment requires us to learn to conquer not the world, but the instrument through which we view the world, our minds. Our minds. It won't matter, says the East, how lustrous and perfect our achievements end up being, how much money we accumulate, how many friends we acquire, how famous our name is, so long as our mind remains open to being troubled at any point by our emotional faculties. Now, you find this in the Christian tradition. I'm not saying you don't. But that you got to wade through it to get there. All the benefits of a palace with seven. I think I should just stay up here, right? Don't move. I just like to move. But it's okay. Thank you. But I'm going to stay within these boundaries. I have to have boundaries. So long as thank you, Jim, as our minds remain open to being troubled, right? So all the benefits of a palace and of pools, they don't, almond and cherry trees. Depression will wipe all that away. Chronic anxiety will spoil the ownership of the fastest jet. A fortune is of no use at all. And I'm not against money, be clear. But money is the tool. It's not what the attachment. So long as, you can have a lot of money and then you're paranoid. Who's going to steal it? Can I trust? This one, she's just dating me for my money. I've never heard those words referred to me. But I must tell you, it can happen. An unhappy relationship at once destroys any advantages of an esteemed name. So, given this vulnerability of external goods to the vagaries of our mental realms, the Eastern tradition advises us to stop spending our time trying to rearrange the chairs on the Titanic, to stop to rearrange the material building blocks of existence because of what it can do to us psychologically, and to focus instead on learning how to control and manage our inner life, which is complicated. And it's, it can be a mess. So rather than striving to build empire, we need to spend many years examining how we think and dream. We have to reflect on our families, on the economic systems we were brought up under, the impact of our sexual urges, and the biological and cosmological order of nature, of which we are a part. We are a part. We have to learn how to breathe, right? It's a lot of focus on breath work and that type of thing. We have to learn to breathe in such a way as to allow maximal oxygen to reach out and to hold our bodies so that our organs are not crushed and the blood can flow. We need to be able to sleep a regular number of hours without distractions that disturb our stream of thought. And this is not an easy set of priorities. It's probably much harder than managing a law firm if we took it seriously. But the yogis and sages advise that it delivers us a more secure way of living, a more secure way of life and contentment than if you had a private jet or a yacht off of Barbados. Not bad things to have, though. Some of the reason why this continues to feel unreal is that we simply can't imagine that success and great wealth and a palace wouldn't do the trick. And that in turn is because too few people have been blessed with these things. And so intellectually, we try to justify the way we live our lives. And we're constantly trying to find the balance. We're constantly trying. And I'm in no way preaching that poverty. No, I'm not saying that. But it's where we put our emphasis. As I just told you before, all the things that my mom-in-law had and Harry left well-to-do people, it's gone. It didn't fit in the box. It didn't fit with the ashes. It's gone. And so it makes us have to rethink. And, Buddhism was founded by a disgruntled playboy, right? Gautama, Siddhartha, who once had a palace. He had a trust fund. He had fame and servants, but he gave them all up to sit under the Bodhi tree, we are told, and with the benefit of lived experience. So he lived it. It wasn't someone told you. He discovered what material goods can do for us and cannot do for us. And without false modesty, he insisted that that won't be enough. The food may be tasty, the room's elegant, but such advantages cannot serve their purpose so long as our mind is troubled. So long as our mind is troubled. We should take the East's warnings seriously. However, how hard we strive, it is logical that we can only be happy as much as our minds are. We can only be at peace only as much as our minds are. Given the fact that in the West, especially what's going on now, we're all vulnerable to mental disturbances and how short our lives are. And we should, on balance, almost certainly spend a little more time on our psyches and a little less time on getting the second home. The West has produced too many unhappy playboys and the too many genuinely peaceful sages for us not to shift our attention away from conquering the world to taming our minds. Be as simple as you can be. You will be astonished to see how uncomplicated and happy your life can become. These are the words of Yogananda. For over 200 years, the pursuit of happiness has been thought of as a self-evident truth and human right. But what if happiness cannot be pursued? What do we do then? We have a right to pursue it. It doesn't mean that we'll necessarily get it. So, what if happiness is actually much easier to find once we stop chasing it? Buddhist psychology teaches that peace, love, and happiness are mind states. Heaven is right here. You don't have to go somewhere up in the sky. Heaven is here. And so when we get rid of some of our fears, when we open our hearts and minds into the present moment, which is right here and right now. The Dalai Lama puts it this way: happiness is determined more by one's state of mind than by external events. All of the healthiest mind states and emotions come naturally when we try to live in harmony with life, when we let go of wanting things to be different than they are. And if we can appreciate the universe just as it is. See, in the West, we're like, but don't we have to fight for social justice? And don't we have to do this? And I got it. And you can do both. Both things can be true. But if you're fighting for justice, if you're trying to find things and you're just as troubled as you are, you're not really fighting justice. You're just putting that energy, your anger, whether you want to get a name for yourself or whatever, you're just putting that back into the world. You can stay home and leave your sign if you're going out there putting out negative energy that you say you don't want, that you say you don't want. There's no tension between the two in Eastern thought. What the Buddha realized over 2,500 years ago is that our psychological states are a result of our interpretations of reality. Of Course in Miracles says the same thing, and there's a lot of Eastern thought in that. For those of you who think that Jesus went to India during those missing years, we could argue it, but he certainly comes back. He doesn't give up being a Jew, but he comes back with these pearls of wisdom, these gems that he brings back from the East. And so believing we need to acquire more and more things or to be achieving something in order to attain happiness is a false belief. And I know you say you know it intellectually, but I'm sure some of you in here are very anxious about where we're going or where it seems like we're going. But if you're grounded, and it doesn't have to be Eastern thought, it could be liberal Christianity, it can be whatever it is, you will go with the ebb and flood and tides of what's going on now and still keep your sense of peace. We're going to need it. Unhappiness means our hearts and minds are not at ease. We're off balance. We don't feel safe or complete. Individuals with PTSD experience this to an extreme. Modern life generates anxiety. It's an existential anxiety. Being in a human body, knowing you're going to die at some point, makes us anxious. We're not arguing that. But it doesn't have to be your MO in life. Fear doesn't have to be your MO. Fear of what's going to happen, AI, November, do I have, it's going to play out and you're going to be here to see it, but you got to be able to navigate it. It's what feeds the consumer culture of our present age: wars, drug addiction, crime. The Buddha discovers that to be attached to these things, seeing past the illusion, is what can keep us healthy. And so I just wanted to remind you of that today. Um, Obviously, the death of my mom in law and going back to Harry's celebration of life, it brings us back because you can know these things, but we have to be reminded of them to stay in the flow of life, to really see your partner, your friend, to soak up that energy. We're all making memories now. I'm done with this. But I want you to no, I mean, you see it's more and more pages. But it's easy to forget. And so that's what I want us to remember. Some of us won't be here next year at this time for whatever reason. That's how quickly it can go. That's how quickly it can go. So what are you going to do with your wild and precious life? The East can hold some answers. Uh, it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid kind of philosophy. But I just want you to remember that. Um, by changing ourselves, we change the world. And you can march and make a fuss. You can do all of that. Write your congressman or woman. But you don't have to change the world. You change your mind about the world. Gandhi says, be the change, another Easterner, that you want to see in the world. And so as we awaken to the beauty of the everyday, when we become fully woke, it really sinks in that happiness, my friends, happiness, true happiness, is an inside job. Amen. I pray and bless it. And so, as Linda would say, would you like to sing the closing hymn? Would you like to remember there's a closing hymn? But would you like to sing it once you do remember? And so please rise as you are willing and able and join us in our closing hymn this morning, just as long as I have breath. Hymn number 6. have a calling. We are called on respect dignity with differences in dignity and to challenge those who forbid it. We are people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. See you next